This is a gallery that we call the Sight and Sound Gallery, and it's part of our Perceiving Space and Art theme. So it explores concepts of space both in visual material and in music. And for this installation, we specially commissioned a new composition by Jenny Olivia Johnson that is inspired by works of art in our collection, which you see on view here by Saul LeWitt.
I wanted to have an interactive instrument in a gallery setting where people could come in and experience parts of a normative piece that I'd written, but in ways that are slightly unpredictable. And so I wanted people to have kind of a tactile relationship to this instrument and to be able to hear and trigger different parts of the piece depending upon how soft or loud or hard they hit the instrument. So I came up with the idea of using glass because I love the texture of it. And I also wanted to build something that was kind of percussive because I'm a percussion instrumentalist. And so what I ended up coming up with was this idea of this bell jar. It just came into mind, and I thought, well, a bell jar, that's kind of an interesting idea, and I'd seen one at Crate and Barrel. And so I took some out, I bought some, and I took them home and experimented a little bit. And then from that sound and from the shape and from the material of it, I came up with this idea of writing a piece about Sylvia Plath. You know, there's this obvious connection with her novel, The Bell Jar. And so the whole project just kind of enveloped from there. But the initial concept was to have an instrument in the gallery. So I've written a patch in Max MSP that allows the signal from the contact mic to communicate with a series of filters that decide, depending on how the signal strength, which bank of sounds to trigger, how long to trigger them for, what kind of audio processing goes into it, whether it's whether there's reverb or delay applied to the sound, or whether it's played forwards or backwards. And a lot of that is sort of randomized, but it does depend a lot on the velocity of the touch. So that's kind of how I engineered it. Like, all the different jars have different parameters assigned to them. They kind of all have different personalities to me, even though the lighting scheme is fairly similar for most of them. The lights also illuminate differently depending on which sounds are triggered. So that's kind of related to the color of the sounds that I hear when I hear them, being synesthetic. So.
Well, Jenny and I had worked before with an exhibition that had come here by a sound artist named Steven Vitiello, and I knew Jenny's work and loved it, and I knew that Jenny experiences synesthesia and that she has an interest in the relationships between visual art, music, and literature, and I thought that it would be fantastic to see if she'd be excited about working with the museum, and she was. And also, the music and art that we've had in this gallery before has not had a specific relationship to each other. So to have a new composition that would really have a very specific kind of connection to the art on view was really appealing to me.
Elaine came to me, actually we met my first year when I was teaching here. There was an amazing exhibit by Steven Vitiello, and she knew I was teaching a class on the neuroscience of music. And so she asked me if I would be interested in bringing my students to see that exhibit. And so of course I was, because I was doing a unit on synesthesia, and his exhibit involved a lot of light and sound coalescences. And so we met that way, and I think she just kind of kept me in mind as somebody that might be an interesting fit for this gallery. These are a series of prints by Saul LeWitt, all combinations of red, blue, and yellow with scribbles. And to me, when Elaine approached me for this commission, she asked me what kind of artwork I was envisioning on the walls, and she showed me the database of different examples that are available in the Davis Museum, and I immediately gravitated towards these prints. I mean, I've always been a fan of his work, and I knew I wanted something monochromatic, because to me color is such an important part of this piece, and it's about, you know, it's important for me and sound in general, being synesthetic. So seeing these series of prints, all these different colors that are so seemingly simple, you know, there's just one color on the wall, but when you get up close, you can see there's this kind of luminous dance that takes place because there's all these scribbles on top of the color, and it gives it this very, very interesting kind of almost 3D effect, which to me is very similar to how I see color when I hear sound. And so I knew immediately these had to be the prints that were on the wall.
We've had some really wonderful reactions to it. People seem really excited, and they seem to love it, and really enjoy the interactive aspects of it. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to get more feedback on it, because I think it's the kind of piece that people have a very personal kind of reaction to.
I want people to be able to come in here and relate to the sounds in their own unique way, and to just kind of let go of the outside world.